What's up, Highland? We got a sweet guest today. Somebody that I've got to know for quite some time. Mark Rosen.
Good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming. That's the end of the interview.
Yeah, good talk. We'll see you later.
I didn't have much to talk about today.
But it's exciting. We're going to get to hear about his journey in Highland since 1982. Is that what you told me?
82 is when I started, yeah.
Holy cow.
And he's going to tell us when it's ending, too. Right?
Yeah, and
probably coming up here. We won't.
Well, wait a second.
Yeah, let's not reveal all the details. People stop watching.
So, Joe, you got any wealth tips? A lot of going on in the wealth world right now. So, got anything for us? How can I make $1 million tomorrow?
Hey, keep it steady, slow and steady.
Don't freak out.
Dollar cost averaging right now. Do not, the term that I heard from a buddy of mine, and then on a episode of financial piece I was watching, don't catch the falling knife. Yeah. Had a 9% day yesterday. It's down today 2% as of when I walked over here. But dollar cost average. Keep putting your money in systematically, and don't catch a falling knife.
Gotcha. It's good. Like I said, a lot going on right now.
And be patient, resilient. Don't freak out. There's good news down the road at some point. Don't know when.
Yeah,
it's coming.
All right. Health-wise, I'm going to kind of stick on the same theme, is being patient. Lots of times when people start an exercise or nutrition, whatever type of program, we want to see things happen immediately. And we want those quick results, which rarely ever happen. And just understand that this is a process and it's going to take a long time, just like watching your money grow. I try to use that actually as an example.
That's great.
A lot of people have these moments where they say, oh yeah, when this thing worked for me. But then when I ask them, well, where did you start before you did it? And where are you now? They're in the exact same spot. So clearly that didn't work, regardless of the huge spikes that happen. Same as the stock market.
Like get rich quick, get thin quick. They don't work. Like it doesn't work.
They work for a very short time,
or for few people that catch it right.
Yeah, and maintain it. That's the trick.
We have a lot of crossover in our, the physical side, the health side,
health and wealth.
Money. Yeah,
they don't just rhyme for no reason.
Nah, they go together.
That's right.
Peanut butter and jelly.
So let's get
to eggs. No, okay. Well,
yeah, let's get to the good part.
Who is Mark? Who
Rosen.
are you?
Yeah, tell us who you are.
Well, Mark Rosen. I'm a lifelong resident of Highland, born and bred here. I like to define myself as a product of Parks and Rec because participated as a child in the programs. And then started teaching swim lessons in 1982, and then just kind of, went with the momentum every year. Another opening, another opportunity, and lo and behold, I am where I am now.
So started with swim lessons.
Yeah.
So that's where your first job for the city of Highland was teaching swim lessons?
Yeah, and at the time it was like the brand new renovated pool. So
I was just going to say.
Boy, you want to bring up the topic. Mark, you're really diving into a hot topic there.
Well, the good thing is, speaking of which, Mark is retiring here soon, so you can take all your complaints and give them to somebody else.
That's right. The cool thing is we have such a young audience, for this podcast. So all those swimmers, those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, if you're out there watching every week, we know you are. This is what you have to look forward to. So.
Yeah.
So
life of service.
So that was you said the pool, that was when it opened?
Yeah.
1982?
Well, the pool, after it was renovated in 1980, its first full year was 1981, and then 82 I was old enough to start working. And then, from teaching lessons to lifeguarding, water safety instructor, managed the pool, and then more opportunities started with just within the department. Glick Park was getting started in my early 90s. And then it just kind of morphed into timing. Timing is the best thing because Jerome, my predecessor, Jerome Zobrist, announced his retirement in late 95. And so I applied and January of '96, I became director.
Home run Highland.
Yeah. So, a lot has changed since you have taken over that position. There's a lot of big projects that have come into Highland and made our parks and rec district, really, really, I think great from considering when I was a kid to what we have now.
Yeah. I mean, we when I started, the one thing, I was just starting a family, and one of the sticking points for me was that if they expected me to devote as much time and to work and be at work as what Jerome and Carla Zobrist had done, I said, I'm not your guy. And so with that, I hired 3 other full-time people, and my first office was a renovated closet at the Weinheimer, and then it, the rec center began, and more and more opportunities is what my goal was. So.
Yeah, I forget that the rec center wasn't even there whenever you started.
Yeah,
So the Weinheimer,
oh, yeah,
still going.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're looking at over almost coming on 70 years.
What was the Weinheimer originally built for? It's kind of a catch-all right now.
So prior to that, it was Turner Hall, and in the early 50s, Mr. Weinheimer, Frederick Weinheimer, had proposed to the city that he's willing to donate $150,000 with the understanding that the city would raise the additional money and maintain it perpetually. And so at one time, city offices were in there, and then it just kind of, kept moving according to what people's needs were.
So the basketball court's been there since
1954 is when that.
And that thing will be there for the test of time.
Yeah.
There's no way you can destroy that floor.
No, it's taken a lot of knees.
Not even for sure. Yeah. Indoor soccer,
Yeah, there's a lot of knee surgeries, ankle surgeries, stuff, longevity on that floor. That's for sure.
It's a dance floor. It's everything.
There's a roller rink.
It's been for
can withstand the test of time.
Everything. So yeah, it's the Weinheimer's been a real asset for the city in the inception of Parks and Rec. So
you're on the cusp of retirement.
Yes.
Do you have a date that you can make official, or?
Yeah, Friday, May 9th would be my final day, and then we're gonna figure it out from there.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So we're on the countdown.
So why don't you, with the end of your tenure coming up, what's some of the biggest accomplishments that you involved in the park have you've got to kind of roll with?
Yeah. Do you have a top 3 or top 5 that you're most proud of, or biggest, or hardest?
Well, it's hard to really put a top 1 or 3 or 5.
Sure.
But basically when I started, it was on the tail end of Glick Park being developed, and at the time, believe it or not, people were opposed to Glick Park. They were afraid the other parks were going to go downhill. They weren't going to be maintained, this and that. Taxes, of course, are going to go up. So the first thing I knew I wanted to do was update all of the existing playgrounds at all of our parks. So I basically started with our oldest park, which was at the time Spindler Park. So we put in brand new playground equipment, and then Tot Lot, and then it was Hoffman Park. That's the most recent one. Silver Lake, Merwin Park. We upgraded every park's playground in the last 29, almost 30 years.
Yeah, every one of them's completely different than when I was 10.
Yeah, and
that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, and you're looking at a play feature like out at Silver Lake Park. We just put standalone structures. Well, that's $15,000 right there, and it's not just a matter of, hey, but let's go out and put up a playground. And there's certain standards, and for liability reasons, you want to have people that are certified in constructing playgrounds put it up. So yeah, it's a arduous task, that's for sure. Some other things, probably the one thing I'm most proud of is the work we've done in and around Silver Lake. So basically, my responsibilities are from the shoreline out. So our watershed's about 35,000 acres for a 550-acre lake. So there's a lot of water, a lot of silt, and Silver Lake's been studied to death basically since early 80s. And so we were fortunate enough to we've been awarded for the third time a 319 grant. So that's an impaired water bodies grant, and it's a federal grant that's passed through the states. So we've been able to put over 1 mile worth of shoreline revetment, stabilization. With that, we've reestablished the old peninsula. For those that are familiar with Silver Lake, there used to be a peninsula that basically disappeared, and so we've reestablished that with riprap. We've worked with landowners to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit, so that if they have a swale project that requires more, making a little bit bigger, then we can use some of the grant money to say, well, we'll give you 10% of the total project. So, so yeah, whatever we can do to reduce that silt from entering our lake is huge. But and I can go into the Silver Lake for.
Well, I do have you said impaired
water body.
So what is that? I mean, it's a unique lake, right? You can't water ski on it. You can't swim,
right?
And all that. Like what?
So
I'm sure people don't realize the whys on some of that.
So well, I think from the city standpoint, I'm not going to pretend to be an attorney, but I think anything they can do to reduce any kind of liability, so no swimming. But in regards to impaired, that's more of a phrase used to say, hey, Silver Lake, they earn higher points for needing grant money, and so that helps us.
So beside, I'm going to get into this and let you kind of finish up on some of your top projects. So Silver Lake would be up there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which does look nice now. Like I use the trail out there all the time, so like it looks totally different now that you hop on the trail. The entry into the trails.
Yeah.
Pop on over and visit your friendly neighbors here.
Yeah.
There's a little access through the archery range. Come on over and see us there, Jeff.
Slide right through.
Yeah.
And what we've done, that was part of the last 319 grant that we got, was to basically deforest, which was actually 80% honeysuckle, which is an invasive. So we cleared that entire 5 acres out. We put in about an 1.5 acre pond that's not only used for sediment reduction or basin, but we also put bass in that pond. So in the last 4 years, we put over 7,000 bass into Silver Lake. So it's a fish rearing pond.
And then you move them out of the.
So we open the valve and out they go. And then
cool.
And then next to it is the wetlands, which is kind of a secondary overflow for the pond. And while we were excavating that, we unearthed these massive boulders that we incorporated into the spillway for the wetlands. So it's a very natural looking area of the park, and it just dresses it up. And that's another one of my goals, was let's maximize the use of every square inch of the parks we have. And the disc golf course out there, well, I had a gentleman that said, why don't I give you some money to put one in? And I'm like, yeah, we're mowing that area anyway. So we've got people year round from New Mexico, Colorado,
really,
Massachusetts. They pull it up on their app and they're like, well, we needed a break, so we figured we'd play 9 holes. I'm like, well, go in town and eat, buy some food and load up on your journey out west or wherever you're going. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just a different look. The department is now than it was obviously when I started, and probably the most heartwarming project was the All Abilities Playground, the Daily Discovery Playground at Rinder Park. I learned a lot about people with disabilities, and things that I took for granted. I'm like, it brought attention to things. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a great park out there. We use it all the time. So
yeah.
You know what? You're on the parks, and we're talking about a lot of waterways. The residents of Highland can come out and fish, like at the rec center at the. I don't know if there's a name for the
Hunchy Harbor
out there at the All Ability Playground.
That is the Dave McCain Pond. We named that in honor of the only police officer in Highland that was killed in line of duty.
Okay.
And so we tagged his name on there, and so. But yeah, right now it's still a catch and release. But after so many years, which I'm sure we're at that
getting
point.
close, probably.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think that's helpful for people to know, because I think it out of sight, out of mind sometimes. Where are we going to go fishing? Well, the Highland does offer some places to go.
Yeah, I mean, with in front of the rec center is Hunchy Harbor, the Dave McCain Pond, the 3 out at Silver Lake. So there's ample fishing opportunities. Maybe not always the most accessible, but yeah, we do have an accessible ADA fishing dock out at Silver Lake.
Is seining permitted? Is that?
Probably not.
Just say no.
Is what?
Just say no.
Off the top of my head, I have to say no. So
Probably a lot of people don't realize what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you take a big net and you string it along a long way, and you pull it in, and then
There's fish.
sure,
well,
it's like Jesus' way of fishing.
yeah, well, maybe for bait. Maybe. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Like you said.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
What about the bike path?
Well, we actually have a survey out. That I don't know if it's online yet, but we're going to be putting a survey out, and the focus is going to be on getting a trail from the Sharpshooters Trail down by the racetrack and connect that to the new school on the south end of town.
But I mean, that's a big project that you happened along your way.
Yeah,
You
yeah. That would be the most recent one that we're working towards with, and so I encourage people to find this survey, fill it out. But yeah, we've added the trails along Troxler all the way out to the park and ride, and that was kind of the city's focus. Was any kind of new development will require or be encouraged to put in a shared use path as well as a bike lane. So we've added well over 4 miles of trails from Sportsman Road, from the rec center, Hunchy football field out west to Kepfley and Frank Watson.
So what are you saying about the Sharpshooters?
So the plans are that we'll connect the Sharpshooters Trail and go up behind VFW and connect into the new school. That's on the radar anyhow.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but the survey is going to be used more for a comprehensive plan. As they extend the roads, prefer route around. And years ago, we labeled that as the Cersei Trail to honor our sister city.
Well, I kind of like Mark Rosen Bike Trail.
I don't want my name on it.
Well, you may not get the choice. Maybe.
Yeah.
Fill out that survey,
Yeah.
and we'll write you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think from the middle school, 160 to Diver needs a trail. That's for sure.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
We need a trail to Walmart.
Yes.
If I can figure out a straight shoot to Walmart from back there,
I'll help you with that.
thank you.
I know a
we'll
little shortcut.
we'll be trailblazers.
Yeah, let's make
Okay.
it
He
happen.
already.
We have to go at night.
No.
Okay. Let's
Although
talk.
maybe I won't have as much pull once I retire. So
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I know where the corners are.
Okay. Well, we are going to talk.
So, making these projects happen, most people probably have no idea what actually goes on to make any of these city projects happen. I heard you say grants, so that's what made me think, like, is that where you spend majority of your time, is like trying to get funding, or is it the designing of a project, all of the above, like everything that happens with it? Like, what's
He's a grant writer.
the biggest part of, or biggest challenge of what you do?
Well, the biggest part of what I do is make people happy, as best I can. But no, the experience helps, obviously, but with grants, we have our standard grants. Our most vital one is the Madison County Parks Enhancement Grant. It's hard to get into details without giving the whole picture, but basically because of Metro East Park and Rec District, Madison County receives 25% of the total revenue generated from that tax. And so Madison County has said, let's create grants for communities with a minimum of $15,000, and then for larger communities like us in Collinsville, it's a per capita grant, anywhere from what started as $2 per grant or per capita is now over $5 per capita. So I mean, we're pulling in $50,000 every year for those projects. So and it goes towards bettering existing things for the public to use. So in that time, fencing has been put in around the Hoffman and Spindler Park, a pavilion at Spindler, the playground at Hoffman. I mean, it just goes on and on. It was even used for the most one of the most recent playgrounds at Silver Lake Park that we parlayed in with the T-Mobile grant of $45,000. So it's word of mouth. It's newsletters, things like that. It's you know, in regards to other things like, you know, one other thing I'm super proud of is the Thursday Night Live concerts. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do that 20 plus years ago, but there was no funding. So silver lining of COVID was that, you know, we've had this money that we had to go towards entertainment, which was part of the miniband tax. And like, well, I've got the perfect thing. So
We're on year 3.